Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty fun show in store for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, as you guys know, Team USA just won their their third consecutive gold medal at the Paris 2024 Olympics. And they did it in dramatic fashion, especially with those last two games against, against Serbia and France, right? But especially in that Serbia game where they were making big plays, Stephen Curry pretty much immortalized himself with some of those performances that he put forward. But going into this tournament, some people felt like this USA team is just going to go in there and dominate the entire field, right? Some people felt that, like, oh, they were looking at the names: LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Jason Tatum, and these guys, and they thought that they were going to go in there and blow out opponents. That's why you can tell by some of the spreads. But then once the games commenced, we started to see that that wasn't the case. You had this the scare that South Sudan gave the United States, where I think they beat them. Was it by 1 point or 1 or 2 points? I think it was by 1 point with a LeBron James layup, if I remember. So that was a thriller, and they could have easily lost that game. Of course, you have the game with Serbia where they were trailing for 3 quarters. And a lot of people thought that USA was going to get knocked out in that game had it not been the heroics of Stephen Curry in that game, who kept them in the game. And then LeBron and these guys came on in that fourth quarter and really made the difference there. But it didn't turn out the way people thought. People were looking at the names and they thought that, oh, we're just going to go in there and beat the brakes off of them. But what we saw and what we quickly realized was that the rest of the field, the rest of the world is caught up to America when it comes to basketball. They have caught up to them. And it is clear, and it was clear as day to see, right? It was clear as day to see, which now is leaving certain people worried about Team USA's chances in terms of winning the gold medal moving forward, going into the 2028 Olympics. And one of those people is former NBA player, one of the greatest players of all time in terms of talent and ability. And I think he's in the Hall of Fame, and Hall of Famer Tracy McGrady. This morning, I was doing some research and I came across some comments from Tracy McGrady on an article from fadeawayworld.net. And it had the following headline. It says, Tracy McGrady thinks Team USA will be in trouble for the 2028 Olympics. So these are the comments that we want to focus in on. This is the article that we want to get into. So let's get into what this article had to say here. So the article starts off, Tracy McGrady recently expressed his concerns on Instagram about Team USA's prospects for the 2028 Olympics, warning that the American team might face serious challenges in maintaining its dominance on the global stage. According to McGrady, the next generation of American talent may not be enough to secure the gold medal, especially with the looming retirements of legends like LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant. USA is in trouble next Olympics. I'm afraid that the gold might be going somewhere else. I love Ant-Man's game. Who knows what Jason Tatum is going to do? So what Americans coming up? Paolo Banchero might be a guy that we could throw in there because he's young and he's an up-and-coming player. Cooper Flagg may be a guy. He'll probably be in his third, entering his fourth year. Like, I'm looking for guys that are on Stephen Curry and KD's and Bron's level, and I don't see that coming up. We might struggle in the next Olympics. I think Canada has a great chance. I think France has, obviously, they have a great chance because they have Wemby over there. They produce great talent over there. Like, you just don't know what some of these other countries and what they're producing. And then the article then goes on to say, he highlighted that while players like Anthony Edwards, who had a strong showing in the 2024 Olympics, and Jason Tatum are promising, the current crop of young talent may not match the level of past American superstars. And then it goes on to say a few other things there. What do I think about what Tracy McGrady said? First of all, let's look at some of the top players in the NBA today, right? Let's just go through the list here. You have Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Stephen Curry, SGA, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, James Harden, Victor Wembanyama, Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown, Paul George, Damian Lillard, and De'Aaron Fox. These are some of the top guys. If I look at this, let me see what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is about 24 of the top players that they have listed here. If you look at the top 5 players, they're all foreign, or at least 4 of them. Let's look at the names. Nikola Jokic is the best player in basketball. Then you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, that could be the second best player in basketball. Then you have Luka Doncic, who could be the third best player in basketball. Then you have Joel Embiid, who the season before won the MVP, not this last season, the season prior. And this year he was on pace to lead the league in scoring, and he got hurt. And then you have SGA, who a lot of people thought should have been the MVP, right? The only American player that people are looking at, especially kind of now and going into the future, in terms of being the best player, is Anthony Edwards. But those other guys that I just named are all better than Anthony Edwards. All of them. Nikola Jokic is better than Anthony Edwards. Luka Doncic is better than Anthony Edwards. This is not up for discussion. Giannis Antetokounmpo is clearly better than Anthony Edwards. Joel Embiid is better than Anthony Edwards. And one can make an argument that SGA is better than hell. They play in the same conference, and he had the best team, arguably the best team. I think they finished with the number 1 seed, if I'm not mistaken. And you have SGA, right? These guys are all foreign guys. They're all foreign guys. What does this mean? If you look at some of the best players that America has, their top guys, the top of the shelf guys, are either 30, heading into their mid-30s, or in their mid-30s, and some of them are heading towards that point. LeBron James is about to be 40. Kevin Durant is in his mid-30s. Who else? We're talking about Stephen Curry's in his mid-30s. James Harden is in his 30s. Kawhi Leonard is in his 30s. I think Kyrie Irving is 30. Paul George is in his 30s. Damian Lillard is in his 30s. The younger cats, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, those guys are in their 20s. Now, let's focus on some of these players here, 2 of them in particular. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Who was Jaylen Brown last year? Jaylen Brown was the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He was also the Finals MVP. And what happened with Jaylen Brown this offseason? Jaylen Brown was disrespected by Team USA and essentially not invited. Do you know who they invited instead? Derek White. Did he come out there and make some great defensive plays? Yes, he did. No one is accusing Derek White of being a better basketball player than Jaylen Brown. America, for whatever reason, decided not to send their Finals MVP to go represent them. A move that turned off a lot of, let me repeat, Americans. I'll repeat it once more. Americans. A lot of Americans were not feeling that. They were not happy with that. Also, they disrespected the hell, I'll repeat it once more, they disrespected the hell out of Jason Tatum to the point where it caused some NBA players to not even want to root for Team USA. They did that. So chances are Team USA will not have Jason Tatum on the next team. They will not have Jaylen Brown on the next team. Now let's talk about the future, going into the future, because that's what Tracy McGrady is really getting towards, and that's the point that I think we really need to focus in on. Let's look at some of the players that was drafted in this last draft. Let's look at the first round. The top 10 players, a good amount of them were foreign players. The number 1 pick, Zachary Rizaker, I hope I got his name right. He's from France. Alex Perth is an American. Reed Shepard, he's an American. Tijane Salahoun, he's also a foreign player. And I think the 12th pick, Nikola Topic, he's another foreign player. And you have other players that are all foreign players. The number 1 pick is from France. So we can already see this thing trending towards foreign players. It's the same thing that Tracy McGrady is alluding to. So what does this mean for the USA player? Why is it a warning for USA players? Let me just state this. American players, they have some issues. Number one, because of the AAU system. Something that was criticized by players like Robert Horry, Kobe Bryant, and a lot of those guys thought that system was ruining prospective players coming through the ranks because it was not teaching them the fundamentals of the game. These are what players like Kobe Bryant, Robert Horry, and so many, they said they could not stand AAU. And the AAU system is the number one system that rears NBA players today. That's the first thing. How players are being developed. Number two, the mindset of players that are already within the NBA that are American players. In the past, players that came from previous generations looked at playing in the NBA as a privilege. Now these guys view playing in the NBA as a right. That is the fundamental difference. And whenever you view it as a right, you no longer respect the game. You no longer care about pushing the game forward. How can this be proven? It is easy to prove it. The All-Star Weekend. In the past, star players would compete in the slam dunk contest and hell, in a lot of those all-star activities. You would see players like Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and all of these guys participate in a skills challenge. They used to. In the slam dunk contests, you would see Dwight Howard, Jason Richardson, Steve Francis, Vince Carter, Dominique Wilkins, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. So many of the top guys would compete in the slam dunk contest. But now, NBA players believe that is beneath them. Now it's all about the brand. What if I go there and I lose and I don't play well? How does that affect my personal brand? Meanwhile, you have other players that are coming from other countries, and they're being brought up in the system properly. They're actually going through the rigors and developing the fundamentals of the game before they get to the United States. So the minute they touch down in the United States, they're already ahead of the curve. Number one. Number two, given the fact that they don't grow up in the United States, the things that are important to American players, they don't really care about. The branding, they don't care about that. They come into the league and they kick everybody's ass. And that's essentially what you're seeing. So the old guard of the LeBron, the Kirk, those guys are moving. They're not going to make it to the 2028 Olympics. They're not going to play in it. It's over. It is over. So Tracy McGrady is 100% right that this could be the last time Team USA brings home the gold medal for a very, 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 very long time. Yes, in terms of the volume, the numbers, there are more American players that are better basketball in the NBA in terms of the volume of the 450 players. They're more American players. Absolutely. But at the very top, the top guys, it's not even up for discussion anymore. It's over. And now if you look at players like Victor Wembanyama may end up being a top 10 player this year. This year. His prospects are very high. So Tracy McGrady is right to warn these guys, but personally what I think the response is going to be is nothing. I don't expect any response. I don't expect the American guys to show some level of pride. I don't expect any of that whatsoever. I don't expect any of it. I think it's a wrap. The league that Michael Jordan and LeBron and Kobe, that league is over with. Welcome to the international game. And these guys are going to take over the NBA. And we all saw it coming because these guys simply do not care enough. They don't care. Look at the last All-Star game. Does that look like a game where players cared? Is it reminiscent of anything like that? Go look at previous All-Star games with Kobe, Chris Paul. Those games were actually competitive. Now the All-Star game is a disaster. And it's so bad they had to get Larry Bird to try to coax these guys to actually give a damn. And what happened? They went out there and totally embarrassed themselves. So this is where we are. This is where we are, and this is where it's going. I think it is too late. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show.